Hi, I'm Faith, and I'm reading a story from my creative self-expression class. My side of the story. If I may have your attention, I'd like to hear your side of the story now, Jessica. The judge was rude and pushy, but I did not want to start a commotion, so I told my story. 3 months earlier. I've been waiting for the trip for 2 years and freaked out when it was time to go. I ran around staring in amazement since I had never been to Boston before. The buildings were much different than what they usually look like back home in New Jersey. And these monsters made of stone and steel stood way over 100 feet above me, and I saw teeny tiny people walk around in their apartments. I thought I was having the best day ever till I walked out of H&M and saw a man pull out a gun and shoot an innocent pedestrian. I screamed, my first mistake, and trying to run aside, but the murderer grabbed my shirt and grabbed my shirt. I punched him in the face, my second mistake, and shouted for help. I was glad to see my parents running to me in the distance, and the feeling did not last long. They hit the ground before they reached the end of the street. The man looked at me and my dead parents, then back at me, and smiled. I was shoved violently into a Navy van shortly after that, and the man had driven off with me in the back, kidnapped. I was imprisoned in a pitch-black room for a crew member at 72 days with only 2 meals a day and 1 cup of water. I believe there was a bed connected to the wall with chains. The little old room was in a bunker about 500 feet underground. The only light that entered my eyes was from a faint candle that had died after a week after I was trapped in the shelter. My only thoughts were of my parents falling to the cold hard ground and lying there motionless. I had heard a quiet bang of a door closing, and I hurried to my bed. I was not allowed off it. I had fallen and hit my head while rushing towards the old military cot. My room door creaked open. It was during the day. I remember clearly because I was blind for hours, and I was viciously pulled from my peaceful room, and the man injected some chemical into my arm that made me lose it. My brain had hit a wall. I kept falling like I had twigs for legs and a sack of rocks for my body. I fainted not long after that and woke up with a rope tied around me and a pistol pointed at my temple. What did you see? The voice kept saying that as if it was on a continuous loop. I heard a gun trigger, but nothing painful entered my temporal lobe. My mind started to race. Is this the end? Will I survive? What will become of me after this tragic incident? Oh, but the look on his face. How dare he be, like a wolf in his first kill. I had to escape, but how? The exits will be guarded, and I'm probably being heavily watched, so what are the odds that I will make it? I was tired and distressed, but I shouldn't give up. That's always what my father told me when I wanted to quit something that I had difficulties with. I heard his voice play in my mind like a tape recorder. It sounded real, too real. That's when I felt the breathing on my neck. The chair I was resting in was lifted up and positioned into a black SUV. I could hear faint screaming and alarms ringing. I was clueless on my surroundings and was frightened. I fell asleep, which at the time I thought it was a bad idea, but I had thought wrong. My eyes took a long time to adjust, but as soon as I came into focus, I saw dozens of individuals wearing lab coats, running around and taking no notice of me till some shouted, "She's awake!" And when seemed like millions rushed toward me and carried me over to a room. I had no idea what was in it, and since I had been locked up for a long time, I started to scream and tried to wriggle free. I writhed with pain as arms grasped me and placed me in the room for my safety. They closed the door and ignored my protests. Realizing that it was no use, I turned around to see a pile of delicious pancakes with whipped cream and strawberries on top. I jumped for joy, since this is the best meal I've had in a long time. As my fingers ran across my upper lip, picking up any leftover whipped cream, I noticed how filthy I was. My shirt and pants were covered with bloodstains and dirt. My eyes drifted to what I was assuming as my dresser. I decided to wear a cute pink blouse with dark blue skinny jeans. I had many conversations with government workers, so I'd feel less scared and to hear my side of the story. I spent the rest of the week in my new room finding new trinkets to play with and gadgets to touch. But all fun things must come to an end. I was taken to the courthouse. The courthouse was a historical building with bricks just the right color of maroon and red. Tall and perfect white pillars stood tall and proud and captured a beautiful panorama of the burgundy doors that opened to a world of law and justice. My eyes started from the judge to the lawyer of the murderer. I felt a cold, wet tear trickle down my rosy red cheeks as the attorney asked, "How did it feel to see your parents die in action?" I began to sob, and the look of the attorney's face flooded with guilt. Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Jessica, for your pitiful story. The jury has come to a conclusion. Second-degree murder. And I was then escorted from the courthouse back into the big and dangerous world.